Now more than ever before, everyone wants that extra income. And to get the extra income, what a lot of people have resorted to is to either have a side hustle or a business. Now, one thing that we are all not short of is ideas. We all have a lot of ideas, and sometimes it may be hard to choose. Now, in this video, what I'm going to be talking about is how to decide the best online business for you. Some of the things I'm going to be talking about might not just be relevant to online businesses, but also offline businesses. But let's get started. To start with, I think it's important for you to understand the different types of businesses that you can potentially choose from. You could decide to go for a product-based business, which could be you selling physical products such as electronics or furniture, or that you're actually selling digital products such as, let's say, digital meal planner or journal. You could also decide to go for a service-based business, which would require you to render a service to someone. So it could be that you're consulting for a company on a particular subject matter or a project, or that maybe you are even rendering a service like digital marketing service for an organization. The other type of business you can also maybe consider is information-based business. So are you creating a blog, or are you delivering an online course? These are the different types of businesses that you can potentially choose from. So one of the mistakes I see a lot of people making is that they don't do a proper analysis of both themselves and the business options available to them before they select one. And that's why you find that sometimes some people get frustrated after they started a business and then may eventually quit. And that's what we're trying to avoid in this video. So now let's start with analyzing business options that are available to you before going over to how you can actually analyze yourself in order to choose the right business for you to start. In order to analyze your business, I have highlighted 8 metrics that you need to measure the business idea against. So the first metric that you need to look at when you're analyzing a business that you want to start is the startup capital. This is how much money you're going to need to invest in order to get this business started. The next thing you're going to be looking at is what's the unit price. This is how much money you can sell an individual product or service for. The next thing you're going to be looking at is your profit margin. This is how much money you keep after all your expenses. So this is not revenue. We're talking about profit. So let's say, for example, you are selling a product or rendering a service at £1,000, and your cost of goods or total cost of you actually rendering that service is £800. Your profit on that sale is 200, which is 20% margin. The next thing you need to consider is the demand. So how many people are looking to buy this product or this service? The next thing you need to think about is fulfillment. This is the process of actually delivering the product or service to the end user after purchase. So do you need to physically deliver it, or is it something that they can download, or is it something that you have to do yourself? Right? How much involvement is in that? So the next thing you want to look at is the deal options available on that kind of business. So is it going to be a one-time payment type of business, or can you actually get like recurring sales off of a single customer? The next thing you want to look at is the ease of setup. So this is how long or how much time or how much effort is actually going to require of you to actually get this business started. So the last thing you want to look at is the minimum sale required. This is the number of sales that you need to make in order to achieve your revenue goal. So to make this simpler, let's look at some examples of popular online businesses that we can actually use for the analysis using some of the metrics that we just talked about. So for the purpose of this analysis, we're going to be looking at businesses that can generate us an average of £5,000 monthly, right? Now, for an ideal business, we'll probably be looking at a business where the startup capital is as close to zero as possible, like the lowest you can get, and where you can have like a high unit price, let's say £1,000, and then the profit margin is like maybe 50% and above. And you want to make sure that you have a high demand, and the way of delivering this service to the customer is as easy as possible. You want to make sure that you can actually get recurring sales from a single customer acquisition. And then you want to make sure that it's very easy to set up. And if we look at the ideal business we've put up here, is that you need a minimum of 5 sales to actually hit the £5,000 revenue goal that we've set for ourselves. Now, whether or not this ideal business exists or not, it's a different case entirely. So it's important to note that the ease of setup is actually largely dependent on the analysis you do of yourself against each business, but this will make sense later in the video. But now let's look at real businesses that we can actually analyze using some of these metrics that we've looked at. Now for these businesses, I'm actually using hypothetical figures, but it's important for you to be able to do your analysis against information that you actually find out about what it takes to actually start any of these businesses. So I'm looking at affiliate marketing to start with. Now, affiliate marketing is when you are selling other people's products and you're getting a commission. For people that I know that have thrived in affiliate marketing, they either do two things. It's either they have a large audience that they can potentially sell to, or they're able to drive traffic to their platform using ads. So depending on where you are, for myself, I don't have a lot of audience, for example, and I will definitely need to run ads for me to be successful at doing affiliate marketing. So I'm putting this as startup capital is high. I'm going to need to spend between 500 and 1,500 to generate enough leads to actually get into affiliate marketing. That's the way I'm looking at it. Now, in terms of unit price, I could be selling products between £30 to £200 at a profit margin of say 5% to 30% commission. Now, in terms of demand, I would say, this varies a lot. But in terms of fulfillment, you don't have to do anything once you sold the product. The owners of the product will fulfill it for you, and you don't have to do anything. A lot of the times, it's usually like a one-time purchase that someone is using your link to buy something. In terms of effort to set up, now I could put this as maybe low effort, that signing up for an affiliate program, maybe on platforms like Amazon, is like so easy. It takes you less than 5 minutes to actually set up. Where you may have to make more effort is in setting up the link on your platform and then running an ad to it. But relatively, it might be low. Now, in terms of minimum sale required, it looks like I'm going to need to sell between 25 products to 166 products in order to make £5,000 a month. And this is dependent on whether or not I'm getting sales for products with high profit margin or low profit margin. So the next one we're going to be looking at is the Amazon FBA. Now, the FBA in Amazon stands for Fulfilled by Amazon. So this is where you get your stock and then you send it down to Amazon, but Amazon is going to do the fulfillment for you. So all you have to do is list your products on Amazon website, send the physical inventory to Amazon, and then Amazon will do the rest in terms of marketing and in terms of shipping to your customers, handling customer service, returns, refunds, and all the rest. So that's Amazon FBA. In terms of startup capital, you need to actually invest in the inventory that you're going to be selling. So depending on how much you're willing to invest, I'm putting it at maybe between £500 to £2,500. And in terms of unit price, you could sell products that the prices are as low as £20 or maybe even as high as £300 and above. Profit margin, let's say it's between 5 to 40%. So in terms of demand, Amazon is the one that is going to be doing all the marketing and generating traffic to your product. The thing that may make the difference is competition and also the actual demand for your product niche on Amazon website. So it could be mid to high. In terms of fulfillment, I put this as medium because regardless of whether or not Amazon is going to ship the product to you, you first need to ship the product to Amazon, right? So I put that as medium. In terms of deal type, one-time deal. Yes, there's some subscription-based products that you can sell on Amazon, but we're just going to put it as a one-time sale. In terms of ease of setup, I'm putting this as high effort. Now, high effort in terms of you need to do a lot of research in terms of the product that you need to sell, in terms of getting the right kind of suppliers that can sell to you at really low price. And that in itself is where bulk of the work is in doing Amazon FBA, and then you now need to package it and then send it down to Amazon. So for this, you need to sell between 16 to 250 products if you're going to hit your £5,000 goal. Let's look at another type of business. So online course, coaching, and consulting. Now, for this one, it actually requires very low capital, in my opinion. A lot of the things that you're going to need in the beginning are going to be based off maybe your own personal knowledge, and then maybe you only need to maybe set up a website, get a domain name registered, and just a few admin things that you may need to do in the beginning in terms of like spending money to actually get started. So now, in terms of unit price for this kind of business, you have the liberty to determine how much you actually want to charge for this kind of business, and you can charge as high as £1,000, for example. And with the profit margin, you could, if you're not spending so much, let's say you can even get profit margin as high as 60% on this kind of product. In terms of demand, it varies as well. It's a bit unpredictable. Now, in terms of fulfillment, this, I put it as hard because for you to charge really, really high sometimes for this kind of services, you may likely need to render this service yourself, and that is why that is hard. It may be hard for you to take yourself out of the equation for this. And in terms of deal type, you could have one-time payment options and recurring options as well. So let's say you are a consultant and you are on a retainer in a company. They're paying you on a monthly basis, so that's giving you recurring income, right? In terms of ease of setup, I'm going to put this as something that requires significant effort upfront. For online course, for example, it may take you months for you to actually do the work to get this course done, creating the content, the videos, setting it up. It takes a lot of work. The other businesses like coaching and consulting, what takes effort here, I would say, is maybe the structure you need to put together. Also understanding that every client is going to be different, and even if you have a structure that you're going to be working with, you have to tailor your service to every client that you get. So that's why I'm putting this as significant effort. But if you're able to sell each service at £1,000, you only need to make 5 sales in order to achieve your goal. Now let's look at digital marketing. So this is a service-based business, right? And I'm looking at the fact that if you already have the skill, you don't need too much in terms of startup capital. If you don't have the skill yet, you may need to maybe invest in some kind of training or online course to maybe acquire the skill, and then that will probably be your startup cost. And then in terms of unit price, this actually varies as well depending on the kind of clients that you end up signing up. If they're big clients, they will have bigger budgets. If they're smaller clients, then they will have smaller budgets for digital marketing. So let's say you're charging £500 and above, and profit margin on this too can be very high because it basically requires more of your skill. Now for demand, this will vary as well, but in terms of fulfillment, you don't need to physically deliver any product. Everything is going to be done online. So I'm going to put this as easy. And in terms of deal type, it could be recurring or it could be one time as well. Effort to set up could be minimal. And in terms of ease of setup, again, there's some tricks that people apply, especially in service-based businesses, that I'll probably talk about it briefly when we are doing the analysis of the individual behind the business. So some of these tricks can actually help you to decrease the effort required to set up. So same thing goes for websites or software development. This is also a service-based business. Startup capital is low. It basically requires the skills that you already have or the skills that you're going to acquire. And in terms of unit price, this you can actually charge really high depending on the kind of clients that you have, whether, like I said earlier, are they a small business, are they a large business. In terms of profit margin, it could be as high as 70% or more. Demand for this kind of product varies, but in terms of fulfillment, it's easy. You don't need to deliver anything physically, and you can have a one-time deal or recurring deal as well with this kind of business. So now let's talk about how we can analyze ourselves against the business options that we have. The first thing we're going to be looking at is the startup capital. How much money do you actually have to play around with? If you don't have any money, then you know that when you're analyzing your business options, you need to start to look at businesses that you can start with zero capital. And if you have £1,000 to invest, when you look at the business model analysis that you've done using the metrics that we used earlier, you will know whether or not a business is right for you. So the next thing we're going to look at is your interest. What are the things that you're interested in? What are the things that come to you easily? Do you like to talk to people? Do you like to do research? All these things will play a role in terms of how you're able to take on any of these businesses. Because if you're not interested in something, or if you don't like a particular process in achieving something, so let's say, for example, you're doing digital marketing, bulk of your work will be acquiring the right kind of clients. So if you don't like selling, if you don't like, staying on the phone, pitching, maybe that's not the kind of thing that you want to do. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is resources. And first, we're going to be looking at the resources that we have in terms of the skills that we actually have. And so let's say, for example, you're trying to pick the option of website or software development. If you already have the skill, that looks like a no-brainer and a business that might be easy for you to set up, as opposed to if you don't have the skill set and then you have to go and learn to do it, right? You want to analyze your skills, right? The next thing you want to look at is your network. Who in your network can you leverage to help you reduce the amount of effort to get started? So let's say, for example, you're trying to sell mobile phones and then you have a friend who also sells mobile phones. It's easier for you to go to this friend and get a list of suppliers or potential suppliers that you can reach out to in order to get your product at a much cheaper price, or even just get advice around selling a mobile phone, right? So your network is the other kind of resource that you're looking at. The third resource you're going to be looking at is time. Now, this is such a big deal. Are you going to be doing this part-time or full-time? How much time you're able to dedicate to a side hustle or business usually determines how the outcome itself is going to be. And if you know that you don't have enough time, it helps you to think about processes you can put in place in order to effectively handle such a business once it's live, right? So these are things that you need to really think about when you're analyzing yourself. So if you're looking at the business options available to you and you're thinking, hey, this is going to require a lot more of my time and I don't have it, then maybe you want to look at other options that would not require too much of your time. But basically what you're trying to do is to rate yourself and then pick the best option for you. So another resource you want to think about if you don't have the required skill or you don't have the time is to explore arbitrage options. So an arbitrage is like when you use a third party to fulfill the service you're trying to render. And a lot of service-based businesses use this. So I may not know how to build a website, but I can get clients. All I have to do is have a network of individuals who can build the website for me and know their price. And then I'll go and get clients at a much higher price and then get these people to do the work for me while I make the margin. This is what a lot of people are actually using to make money. Their business is like, they're just like middlemen. They're just connecting and then they're making a profit out of it. So the next thing you need to think about is how much money you actually want to make from this business on a monthly basis, right? Because the business that you're going to choose to make £500 monthly is different from the one you're going to choose if you're trying to reach £10,000 monthly. So it's important for you to understand how much money you're trying to make on a monthly basis in order for you to select the right business that will get you there much faster. So the last thing you want to now think about is how quickly do you have to start making money when you start this business. Now, hear me out. Now, there's some businesses that actually take a while to ramp up to start to generate the amount of revenue that you actually want on a monthly basis. But you know that once you hit those revenue goals, you're just going to continue to increase from there. If you are in survival mode, right, you need to start to earn money immediately, and getting into a business that is going to take a longer time to start to generate something significant for you will not make sense to you at the time. So if you're not in survival mode and you have enough time to build a business for your future self, then that also can help you in terms of maybe selecting the right business for you. So after you've analyzed yourself, you now need to rate it, right? And match it against the businesses available to you. This will logically help you to select the best one for you to get started with. So I'd like to know if you're going to be implementing any of the things that I've shared, and if you have implemented any of this in the past, please feel free to share in the comment section. And if you've learned something from this video, please give this video a thumbs up. My name is Jadisola, and if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel and share with your loved ones as well. And on that note, I'll see you next week. Bye.